Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic, I'm gonna talk about what's the point of school. So, why does this topic matter to me personally? Um, when I was teaching my students, when we're out in these camps and we're having like talks, in the middle of the jungle, right? One of the things that they talk about was always wondering why did they even go to school? Maybe about half of them have decent grades. About 20%, 30% is about average. And then there's about 20% of them who honestly don't do very well. They just go to school because they told they need to do it. And then, yeah, they just go and try to just survive it. So maybe more personally to myself, like why, why does it matter to me? Uh, I was actually quite a lousy student. Like good enough to not disappoint, but bad enough not to make my Asian parents proud. So, um, how I started out was that I started studying programming. So my grades weren't great in secondary school. So then my relatives and everyone around me was like, you should go into IT. So I thought I play games, and then IT is good. So let me just combine these two. So turned out to be quite a disaster because for the first 2 years, I did horribly. Like my grades were barely above passing. Just attended lectures, buying food in, and trying to stress eat to to get by every single day. So I think I gained probably like 10 kgs or something throughout the first 2 years. Um, and what really changed for me was that during the third year, I had an internship um, at a games development company. This mentor really changed my perspective on things. I went into the internship with the mentality like most of the people do, which is they go in, they just survive, get a bit of money, and then afterwards just like finish the course. So I was sharing this with my mentor, right? I get bad grades. I don't even know what I'm gonna do after this. He gave me this concept of quitting on my own terms, saying that if I were to quit this industry, then don't quit it because I'm being forced to. Like quit it because I chose to do so. And how does that look like? So it's not easy, right? Like to think about that. He just gave me very clear actionable steps, which is you're on this internship now. You can only control the now, right? So what how does it look like if you did well for it? And that really like inspired me that I knew I was gonna quit. Like I knew for sure that I don't want this lifestyle. I don't want to be a programmer. I don't even want to be in the games industry. He told me just give it a try. Anything, I'll be here to support you. So I started trying very hard. Like whatever project was given to me, uh I just went out there and just imagine that it doesn't matter. And at the point of time, it kind of doesn't matter because I was at my third year, and in a polytechnic, it's 3 years, right? So that's my last year. And during my that last year, I knew that my time here was finite, right? And thinking about that somehow gave me inspiration that I only have 10 months to prove myself uh, in this phase of my life. I said, hey, I want to achieve this, but I can't really do it. And whatever mistakes I admitted, whatever that I wanted to do, I asked for help. And then I just grinded. Like I was in flow state. So I'm gonna share with you what is flow state in. So during that point, I was there with two other students, right? We three were kind of like typical slackers. Um, and I got tasked to do a project by myself, and both of them were tasked to do another project. And I went like total beast mode. Um, we were there for 3 months. Um, the first month, I completed the project assigned to me by myself, and it did so well that the the actual team implemented that system to their workflow immediately, and I didn't even know like the impact of whatever that I did, right? So then I started on the second project, building on the first, and I asked, hey, is there anything else that I can do to fix? Then they gave me something. They gave me a pinpoint that they had, and then they said, all you have to do is just the first project. Then you're kind of like you pass the whole internship already. So anything after is what you want to do, right? So I I took that pinpoint, I brainstorm everything. Like I came up with the project, I came up with the criteria, uh, what does success look like, and all this stuff. Like I asked my mentors, like, and kind of remembered what I kind of learned in school. So I aced the project, and then they implemented it as well into their workflow. And then afterwards, that took about 1.5 months because I had to start from scratch. Then with half a month to go, I started on a third project, but I didn't want to start on something that I knew I wasn't going to finish. But they told me that it's fine, why don't you start something? Before you leave here, just give me what are the things left to do, and then afterwards, we will finish it and implement it. So in that 3 months, from someone who could barely pass, I finished 2.5 projects. And what really surprised me was that when I left, they gave me a voucher. I just remember it was a fair price supermarket voucher for $60, and then a letter of affirmation, which I still keep until today. And that really changed my perspective. That wow, like it's not that I'm stupid. It's I'm actually capable of so much more. So when we were at the final project, there was not a lot of expectation for me. So how they paired up was, um, depending on how good you are, you'll be paired up with someone who's not so good. So I was like the lower tier programmer, and then I paired up with someone who's higher tier. So he was like top five in our cohort. Then there was a designer also same like the top designer with the not so good designer. So what happened was I aced it. Like I did so amazing. And I think that work ethic is something that I still think back now when things are hard. I came in at 9 a.m. and then afterwards I only left at 9 p.m. When all of us we could leave at 5 p.m. I had to learn everything from scratch. And at the end of all of this, right, my buddy programmer was working alongside me and even asking me for advice because he knew that I read into the documentation. He knew I translated the Japanese manual, and then we aced it. There was a graduation ceremony, and I didn't attend. I mean, because I was embarrassed, like I finished the entire thing barely passing. My buddy texted me saying that we won an award for it. I was so happy that we won. I guess at that point of time, I felt ashamed of myself for not doing well the first 2 years. And I think until today, I still have that regret. So when I talk to my students and I can see that this is the path that they are going through, I feel that sense of obligation to help them, to push them harder, just so that they don't make the same mistakes. Yeah. So I guess that's the reason for me to want to share about this today about what even is the point of school, right? You can see that there is a difference between the different qualifications on their average starting salary. Okay, about 13 years ago in 2012, it was 3,004. So if you think about the chart earlier, That's about degree holder, right? And this is average across all ages. Nowadays, the average is 5,002, right? So a degree holder, right, it could realistically enter the market at the average income of all Singaporeans. And what factor is in place there, which is basically it's just your education. Like the truth is that 80% of us are average. Like even I'm average. Okay, so why am I sharing all this? Right? How much you earn is actually what society values you at. This goes across all the different skill sets that you have, right? Whether it's your technical skills, all the way to your soft skills, your public speaking, your communication skills, your EQ, your IQ, all these plays a part, right? So if I could hire anyone on the street to replace you, then I have no reason to pay you well. Okay, so then what is the goal then about school, right? Um, I would say that it's about two things, right? Number one is to build your competence, and number two is to build your confidence, right? So, what is competence, right? So, in school, let's just say we have chemistry. I was horrendous at chemistry, right? But if I'm able to get an A for chemistry, despite hating it and not doing well for it, this will allow me to build competence in areas that I'm not great at. Okay, so competence, right? I have to say that competence, if I had to break it down, it's being great at something that you are not passionate about. The next one would be confidence, right? Confidence in yourself is about building competence, right? Or you gain it from building competence. So what does this mean? If take the example of chemistry, if I hate chemistry and I still am able to get A for it, right? It gives me the confidence that anything else in my life, I'm able to achieve it. I'm able to overcome it, right? Despite not even liking it. What more if I were to go to something that I'm truly passionate about? How much more can I achieve from it? 100% more, 200% more, right? So these two things together to me form the baseline of the competence and confidence. So your competence, you can break it down to your technical skills and then your communication skills. Let's just say that you're the best plumber in the world, right? But when people ask, hey, do you think you can fix this? Your answer is, maybe, right? Then people are not willing to put the chance in you. So you want both of these aspects, right, to kind of breed off each other, right? So if you're competent at something, it will generate a level of confidence. And with that confidence, you're able to pursue harder tasks that will make you even more competent. And then that cycle continues. So I've always hated school. I my grades were bad. People bullied me. Um, and then I had three friends, right, who had excellent grades. Like um, they were in the top classes, and they were always doing immensely well. Because I felt inferior, I didn't really go to them for help to get coaching or tuition from them. Um, so the inferior feeling stayed with me for very long. As you can see, after I transitioned from secondary school to polytechnic, that still lingered. And I think at the end of my internship, I had a thought, which is, do I hate school because I was bad, or am I bad because I hate school? And I thought, like, what if I change the environment and redefine myself? Um, what if I could decide the future that I'm going to have? So being a when I quit my programming career, even though I didn't really get started on it, I went to study culinary arts, right? Because that was another aspect of my life that I was really passionate about, and everyone told me not to go into. So when I was rebellious, I guess, uh, I decided to pursue that. Um, and it's been a crazy long journey. And I've always slowly seek to improve one aspect of my life at a time, and play the long game, you know. Okay, so there's this quote from Paulo Coelho that the secret of life is to fall 7 times and get up 8 times. Right? So all my achievements in my life have been because I was willing to get up and try again and again. And I think with this YouTube thing, even though this is like my second published video, I've already failed in so many different aspects. You know, I've hit pause and recorded, uh, and and did so many retakes, replaced my script so many different times, and honestly, failing is painful. My pride really can't take so much punishment. But I keep telling myself that I just gotta get up and just keep trying. So like closing few things, um, or going back to the question again, which is what is the true purpose of education? Why do we even go to school, right? This is my own perspective, which is school is about finding your own approach to learning and developing a lifelong learning perspective, right? So education is more than just memorizing, you know, it's really about understanding and being generally aware of things. Can you imagine you're at my age, like in my mid 30s, and you have no concept of math, or physics, or basic biology? What's the true purpose of education in my perspective? What's the point of going to school? I believe is to find your own learning style, develop your own idea of success, uh, learning to learn, and then lastly, it is to acquire general knowledge. Um, we never really know what is it that we want, right? Until we have tried it out, right? So, Ali Abdal talks about the architect versus archaeologist approach to things, right? Where an architect plans out every single aspect and then afterwards build. An archaeologist will slowly discover, right? So when in school, to be honest, you know nothing. In the process of discovering, you will figure out what are the things that you are genuinely interested in, right? So how do you know that math interests you if you don't even try, right? I think the common trap is always I need to be passionate about something, and then after that I'll be good at it. But oftentimes my own experience is the other way around, which is I'm often passionate about things that I'm good at, right? Because when you're competent, you are way better than everyone else, and then you make it seem so easy. That itself will breed passion, right? So those are the few aspects that I believe what's the point of school. I hope that you can take control of your own path, right? Success comes from your own personal effort, regardless of circumstances, right? Um, I'm sure you have classmates who ace every single thing, and there you have classmates that do not great, and they're both in the same class. What happened? Like, is the teacher like different to both of them? No, you generally get the same lesson, and successful people succeed regardless of the environment. So resist taking the path of least resistance, right? Being lazy, slacking off, not studying. These are the easy way out, right? Put your effort into activities that bring you value, right, in the long run. Don't be discouraged by peers who mock dedication and hard work, right? Because I've got people that I know, um, when they were young, those were probably the so don't be discouraged by peers who mock dedication and hard work. right? If you got friends who care about success, you will see them studying, right? And it's when you get together with a group of people who enjoy studying or tries hard, right? In the end, you will also enjoy it. And I really hope for you that you become successful in a way that your heart desires, not what your parent wants, not what your friends want, but what you want, right? Because being great in school gives us choices, right? You don't want to be forced into a circumstance where you have no choice, right? To be forced into a job because that's the one that pays you slightly higher, right? You will be in compromise situations. You will likely get cheated, and those are the circumstances that people often blame life to. But to be honest, you can only blame yourself. If you made crappy decisions early on and you don't realize it, you don't change anything about it in 10, 20 years when your life goes south, and only have yourself to blame. If you ever felt like school was pointless or you felt lost, just comment down below, share with the rest, and then we can all improve together. Right? So if you want to watch more of my content, you can click here. I still haven't figured out where to see my latest video. Okay, bye.